The Forward Surgical Hospital provides resuscitation and life-saving emergency care, short-term intensive post-operative care of surgical patients pending evacuation, and limited medical care for unit personnel. A medical regulating section at the headquarters of the Corps Medical Command, or Division Medical Group, will coordinate the details of evacuation and hospitalization of patients so as to provide effective support with limited medical resources. Specifically, they direct the evacuation flow of patients requiring immediate surgery to a forward surgical hospital by either ambulance or helicopter, and those requiring hospitalization to a field hospital located further to the rear. The FSH is fully mobile, administratively self-sufficient, and capable of providing care for 60 patients. They are normally allocated on a basis of 2 for each division and 1 for an independent brigade group. The Forward Surgical Hospital consists of a headquarters, a services company, and a treatment company. Within the headquarters, the commanding officer's principal assistant in the operation and administration of the unit is the operations officer.
Okay, Joe, so check your status.
He is responsible for communications, defense, movement, and all tactical considerations involved in the hospital's deployment. The coordination of these functions and the planning of future activities are conducted in the unit command post. The services company provides first-line logistic support to the unit, including food services, supply, fuel, transport, and maintenance. The hospital's requirement for laundry services is coordinated by the Division Medical Group and the Corps Medical Command. Maintenance support for the unit is a continuing problem. The unit does its own Level 1 maintenance and relies on other Corps resources for Level 2 maintenance of its equipment, which, for medical equipment, is provided by the supporting Forward Medical Replenishment Unit. The treatment company is responsible for all aspects of patient care. It consists of a small headquarters, a medical supply section, a surgical platoon, and a ward platoon of 3 sections, each with a capacity of 20 beds. The surgical platoon includes 3 operating rooms with supporting laboratory, X-ray, central sterilized supply, and post-operative care sections. It also includes a triage section and a section for oral surgery.
Just let him breathe on his own there.
The hospital relies on the area trunk system for the majority of its communications. When located in the division area, it receives communication support from the division headquarters and signal regiment or the division medical group signal squadron. Combat net radio communications capability allow it to join the division medical group command and administrative net and CAF helicopter nets. While on the move, its radios are used for tactical control. The hospital's personnel complement is 213 all ranks, including 37 officers and 176 trades specialists.
Should have told him I'm camera shy.
Its equipment includes vehicles, shelters with associated accessories such as air conditioning systems, heaters, generators, X-ray, operating room, and laboratory kits. The hospital carries a 3-day supply of medical material and general stores. It demands upon the Forward Medical Replenishment Unit for medical material and upon the replenishment system for combat supplies and general stores. The hospital area layout encompasses approximately 250,000 square meters. The FSH requires a good water supply, level hard standings, separate in and out routes, a helicopter landing zone, concealment and terrain protection, and access to the main supply route. It should be distant from any known health hazards and not near any likely enemy targets or prominent landmarks. Where possible, it should be positioned to receive maximum protection from nearby installations. Buildings should be used whenever possible. The FSH is marked clearly with the appropriate red crosses to identify it as a medical facility. As a general guide, the hospital may commence surgery 12 hours after arrival in a new area, and within 36 hours, the hospital is fully operational. The layout of the FSH allows easy access to the headquarters and treatment company areas. The headquarters is usually located on the in route. Immediately beyond it is the treatment company complex with the ambulance reception area. A nearby landing zone minimizes the distance to the patient reception area, yet is far enough away to reduce the disruptive effects of helicopter noise, prop wash, and dust. The services company establishes the kitchen where it is convenient to the hospital staff and the feeding of patients. Accommodation for hospital staff is more isolated in an effort to capitalize on rest periods. The maintenance, supply, and transport elements are also separated from the hospital complex. Unemployed vehicles and ambulances are parked in this area. The core of the treatment company complex is the operating area and its associated recovery area. In addition, 2 20-bed wards are available for patient convalescents and those patients who are awaiting further evacuation rearward. The triage and resuscitation area is located near the entrance, where the initial sorting of patients takes place. The X-ray and laboratory facilities and the admission and discharge desk are located close by. The pharmacy and central sterilized supply are within easy access of both the operating rooms and the recovery room. On arrival at the FSH, casualties are moved into a receiving area. The patient receiving area is commonly referred to as the triage and resuscitation area. Here, patients are sorted and categorized in terms of priority for treatment. Sustaining care is continued until such time as the patient undergoes surgery. Once the patient's medical status is determined, the admission and discharge section document personal data and take possession of the patient's personal effects for safekeeping. Surgical intervention may be immediate or postponed. Based on diagnostic results, patients requiring immediate surgery will be transported from the triage and resuscitation area directly to an available operating room. Diagnostic aids, such as X-ray machines, assist surgeons in undertaking surgical intervention. Laboratory services, consisting of primarily hematology, are also critical in support of the surgical teams. After arrival in the operating room, the casualty is prepared for surgery. The anesthetist administers anesthetic and monitors the patient's vital signs. The patient under anesthesia is positioned for surgery, and skin preparation is done by the operating room staff. The scrub personnel prepare their equipment, and the surgeon, assisted by a medical officer, performs the required surgery. When surgery is completed, the wound is covered, and the anesthetist starts the recovery of the patient. The operating room team then moves the patient out of the operating room to the recovery area. Here, the patient is closely monitored. Once he has returned to a conscious state and is stable and responding well, he is transferred to the ward area and a status report is given to the ward staff. The ward staff continue to monitor the patient's condition until such time as they can be evacuated to a field hospital in the core administrative area. Evacuation of stabilized patients is normally completed by road ambulance, or tactical aeromedical evacuation flight. Field surgical teams are integral to the hospital and can be dispatched forward to establish an advanced surgical center at a brigade medical station or at the field medical company as the medical situation and casualty estimates dictate. A team consists of a surgeon, an anesthetist, a nurse, 2 operating room attendants, and their specialized equipments.
Let's do that soonest.
The Forward Surgical Hospital is a core medical unit designed to provide a life-saving emergency surgical facility in support of the division. It is a highly technical organization requiring formation staff assistance in its interlink with the evacuation, replenishment and maintenance systems, and in providing for its support to the division. The provision of medical material throughout the Corps during operations is a vital function which allows the medical service to fulfill its role of conserving manpower. Without continuous replenishment of medical equipment, pharmaceuticals, dressings, blankets, litters, blood and blood substitutes, many sick and wounded personnel would suffer from increased morbidity, and the operational effectiveness of the field force would decrease. The Forward Medical Replenishment Unit is responsible for the receipt, storage, and issue of medical material, inventory management, and limited second-line maintenance and repair of medical equipment. The Forward Medical Replenishment Unit consists of a headquarters and a medical supplies platoon, which incorporates stock control, stores, and maintenance sections. FMRUs are allocated to Forward Corps medical groups on the basis of 1 per division. They are either co-located with a medical treatment facility, for example with a Forward Surgical Hospital, or sited in a logistics support area. The location is critical, as often ambulances returning forward to the division medical group will stop to pick up material after their patients have been dropped off at nearby medical facilities. The unit is fully mobile. It is, however, dependent on the administrative resources of another unit for its daily maintenance. The unit is equipped with trucks, trailers, power units, heating and refrigeration facilities. It relies on the area trunk system for its communications. The unit personnel structure encompasses 2 pharmacist officers, 21 medical assistants or technicians, and 19 non-commissioned members of various trades. The unit can be deployed in existing buildings or under canvas, and only requires sufficient space for its operational function, support elements, and a helicopter landing zone. Medical material includes general supplies, such as litters and blankets, and medical supplies involving such items as drugs and dressings, surgical instruments, and X-ray machines. The unit normally holds a 15-day supply of medical material for all users. The DivMed group staff are responsible for preparing estimates of medical material required by the division for any specific phase of operations. These estimates are passed to the FMRU so that the necessary pre-stocking and pannier kit preparations can be undertaken.
But they must be ready to deploy.
The medical material replenishment system is simple and flexible. Demands and issues are made directly to the supporting medical facility. Maneuver units are kept topped up with medical material transported forward by ambulances on the return leg of the ambulance shuttle from the brigade medical station. Property exchange of fast-moving items such as litters, blankets, and splints assists in keeping stock levels constant throughout the evacuation chain. Within the FMRU inventory, Many different types of standard medical kits are available for immediate issue. The makeup of these kits is based on the duration and type of operations, medical problems expected, and quantities required. Medical material is handed separately from other supply items, from the time of procurement to the final issue to the user unit. The FMRU receives its replenishment medical material from the core medical material replenishment system. Local procurement or other sources may be utilized when shortfalls are encountered. Captured supplies may be used for treatment of POWs, to aid the civil population, for refugees, or as the situation dictates. Pickup of medical material by the field ambulance or ambulance transportation company is effected on a routine return-run basis within the shuttle system.
Order for div rear MIR.
The ambulance driver, having been given a store's order at the brigade medical station, and after delivering his casualties to a core medical installation, proceeds to the FMRU, drops off demands, and picks up the supplies requested from a previous demand. These supplies are then delivered directly to the brigade medical station. The FMRU also has the capability of delivering medical material to a replenishment point and, in an emergency, a particular unit's requirements can be met via the delivery point system. A special supply request can be passed by any means, and emergency pickups can be completed within 2 hours or less, depending on the nature and quantity of the items needed. As covered storage is of primary concern in the handling of medical material, warehouses and similar type buildings provide the most suitable structures. Medical material should not be stored in conjunction with combat supplies, as it will lose the protection afforded by the Geneva Convention. Medical equipment maintenance and repair is provided by the FMRU, either in situ by a medical equipment repair technician or at the FMRU workshop. Equipment defects beyond the maintenance capability of the field ambulance or forward surgical hospital or dental clinics is backloaded to the FMRU for exchange or repair. Medical equipments are normally scarce, and good user maintenance is mandatory. The FMRU can only be effective in supplying the correct type and quantities of medical material to the division if it is incorporated into the ambulance shuttle, into the communication system, and has easy access to the replenishment system. It requires the same general considerations of sighting, communications and support as does any other combat service support unit. The efficient operation of the division medical service depends to a large extent on the ability of the FMRU to meet the medical supply needs of the division.